Hello, welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all of the places you can find me should be linked in the description box below this video. Welcome to day 4 of the 12 cast-ons of Christmas 2020. It is Sunday the 27th of December as I'm recording this, and today's project is all about the yarn. I'm really looking forward to casting this on. The pattern that I'm going to be using is one that I'm sure most of you will know. It's the Hitchhiker by Martina Behm, and very early on when I came back to knitting, I cast on and finished a Hitchhiker, but I was very new coming back to knitting. I've knit since I was very young, but my kind of knitting resurgence was quite new when I cast on the Hitchhiker, and I cast it on using a beautiful skein of yarn from Countess Ablaze, but I decided to use a little bit of that yarn in my Cozy Memories blanket, and I also I think wound some off and gifted some to a friend, not really realising at the time that I really needed all of the skein to make a sort of large enough shawl for it to be wearable for me. So I still do have my Hitchhiker, but I don't really wear it that much. I'm thinking at some point I might frog that and reclaim the yarn and use that beautiful yarn in another project. If I combine it with another yarn, then I will, you know, make much better use of that skein. So I've always wanted to go back and knit another one, and quite some time ago on Emma Eldenwood's Crafts podcast, I saw that she had knitted a Hitchhiker, but had modified it slightly by popping in some rows with eyelets, and I think she saw that idea, if I remember rightly, from the lady behind Hedgerow Yarns. I want to say Jane, but it's escaping me. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. There is that's kind of where my inspiration has come from. So that's what I'm going to do, and I am going to use a super precious skein from my stash for this project. Last Christmas, my dear friend Erin over in Canada sent me a skein from Wool and Wanderlust that she had specifically dyed for me. This is the Secret Garden colourway. And if you followed here for a while, you know how much I love the Secret Garden. And I have a copy of the Secret Garden. It's a sort of special edition, Victorian Albert Museum inspired. This is kind of some William Morris print, I think, that they have at the museum, which inspired the cover design for this particular edition. And I think I sent a copy of this edition over to Erin as well. So yes, the dyer behind Wool and Wanderlust dyed up this skein based on the book cover, which is just so special. There's a sort of double label on this skein. Let me take it out because I'm going to be undoing it soon to wind it off. And it has the picture of the book cover inside. And I have been sort of sitting on this skein of yarn for a year now, because it's so special. The fact that Erin had it dyed for me based on this beautiful book cover, and look at that beautiful colour combination, oranges and greens, yummy, yummy. I've kind of been reluctant in some ways to use it, but as you know, I like to try and connect my 12 cast-ons to friendship in some way, or I have done for the last couple of years. And today, the 27th, is, if you've watched for a while, you already know, it's the anniversary of my mum passing, and she's been gone for many years, over a decade now. So I felt like today would be a good day to cast on a really special project. So the knitting should be quite simple, but as I say, this one is all about the enjoyment of a really precious skein of yarn. In case you're not familiar with the Hitchhiker, I will put a picture up on the screen, because I know it's a pattern that's been going around for a while, but I know I shouldn't assume that everyone has seen it, because we've all come to the knitting community at different times, and the Hitchhiker was definitely a popular pattern a couple of years ago, but I don't see it mentioned quite as frequently as I once used to. So look at that, isn't it spectacular? spectacular. Love it. So yes, I'm going to be casting that on today, and I've picked out this project bag from my project bag collection. It doesn't have a maker label in it. I think this may have been one that I purchased for myself. It's definitely a project bag that I've had for quite a long time, but there are lots of trees, and there are a few specks of kind of orange flowers and a few orange trunks on the trees as well. So I thought that matched quite nicely with this skein of yarn. And it might inspire me also to do my to do one of my regular rereads of this book. I literally reread it all the time because I love it so much. It's kind of my happy place book. If I need a little bit of comfort, then I usually turn to this one. I just love it so much. I thought I'd use a really fun progress keeper with this project as well, keeping the theme of friendship going. The lovely Christine, hi Christine if you're watching, sent me a beautiful package a couple of weeks ago with some gifts in. It arrived at the shop as a surprise, and I have sent Christine a message to say thank you, but she sent some really thoughtful gifts, which I'll quickly show you. I got this amazing sticker sheet with lots of orange cats to match my lovely newt. She sent me this amazing soap which smells fantastic. It's white jasmine soap. It says the Sea Shed on there, so I'm assuming that's the company, and it says the beach is my happy place. How perfect is that for me? And then not only did she send those, she sent me a collection of different progress keepers and stitch markers from Crafty Clegs, and then it's got Jeanette, so I'm assuming that's the maker up behind Crafty Clegs. So I have this cute set, which is a sheep progress keeper and some beautiful ring markers with beads on, and I think I might save those for a project where I might need the ring markers so that I can use those together. But this is the one I'm thinking of keeping on this project. It's a beautiful cat. It's one of those lucky cats, isn't it? Oh, I can't think of the name. They wave their paws at you. I think they're Chinese, aren't they? And also this set of right side and wrong side markers, which I love those as well. But again, I think I might save those ones for another project where they might be a little bit more useful. So yeah, I think I'm going to add this lovely progress keeper to my project as another little added dimension of friendship. So yes, I'm going to go and wind the yarn off in a minute. First, I need to make some lunch because I am Hank Marvin. My stomach is rumbling. I also have a cat who's staring at me from the sofa. I think she wants some snuggles. So lunch, kitty snuggles, cast on.
Lennox was sent to Misselthwaite Manor to live with her uncle, everybody said she was the most disagreeable-looking child ever seen. It was true, too. She had a little thin face and a little thin body.
So it's Monday the 28th for me now, and of course the minute I start to record the sun decides to come out after it's been really gloomy all day. But there's not too much I can do about that. I'm here as always to show you the progress that I made on my project that I cast on yesterday, the Hitchhiker. But before I do that, of course, I'm going to share some of the cast-ons that everyone else in the Yarn and Yarns community has been telling me about. And as seems to be the trend, I'm not quite caught up with everyone's comments. So if your cast on isn't here, then don't worry, I shall catch up at some point. But I've got lots to tell you about today, which is really exciting. So the lovely Tina, who has the Crafts by The Rose channel here on YouTube, has plans to start lots of projects along with us. She's hoping for 12, but she's definitely going to be starting a purse and a doily. She is primarily a crocheter. Susan has started the Bat and Bird blanket, a beekeeper's quilt and a Find Your Fade, and also has plans to cast on more. So thank you so much for keeping me company on this cast on adventure season. Amy has cast on 2 pairs of socks. And Amy's comment made me laugh. She said one of her pairs of socks she was doing from toe up and couldn't quite get the cast on right, so she tried about 6 times before she got it right. But unfortunately, Amy, I do love the cheekiness of it, but that does not count as 6 cast-ons. Amy also has a cowl on the go from Handspun Yarn, some slippers and a colourwork hat, so that's amazing. Our lovely Mairead has started a Northmore Lock crochet shawl, and a dark side cowl, and is busy swatching for her next projects. I did have to ask her what she meant by the word swatch. Anne has cast on a love note. Tracy has cast on socks from Colourful Creativity Yarn, the lovely Caroline's yarn, and a writer's block cardigan. Jeanette, our lovely Jeanette, has started a scarf. She did have a couple of other projects that went on the needles and then got frogs because they weren't quite working out, but she said she's happy with her lovely scarf project. Sounds very cosy. Kate has cast on a little pine tree headband. Jennifer has started a Cozy Memories blanket and is planning a flax light and an as if tea, so lots of lovely projects to come. Sue has started a floozy, and I have that pattern in my library. I think I purchased it when it first came out and really wanted to cast it on. Haven't quite gotten to it, so maybe next year's 12 will include a floozy. Zoe has started Marcia the alpaca, which is a crochet amigurumi from the Pika Pow, or is it Pow Pika book? It's a really adorable crochet amigurumi book. I do have a copy of it upstairs. I haven't made anything from it, surprise, surprise. But if you haven't checked that out, then and you're a crocheter, then please do. There's some really cute creatures in there. And our lovely Jane has been using up some stash yarn by casting on a baby cardigan and a baby sweater, which is lovely. We love a little bit of stash busting. So yeah, I know there are quite a few other projects that you've told me about. I just didn't quite get time to catch up with all of the comments yesterday. It's always the case with this, isn't it? Me trying to balance my cast on with making the videos and keeping up with all the comments. It can be quite tricky sometimes, but I'm doing my best. Right, so my Hitchhiker, in my beautiful Secret Garden yarn, I started to re-listen to The Secret Garden while I was knitting on this yesterday, and I think I might do that in the future. When I pick up this project, I'll just work my way through The Secret Garden book on audio. so I won't sort of carry on my listen willy-nilly. I'll just listen to it when I'm working on the book. I'm so familiar with the story at this point that there's no danger of me forgetting the plot if I don't listen for a couple of weeks. So it's a bit twisty, but making a right pig's ear of this. So this is the progress that I made yesterday on my Hitchhiker, and I'm loving, absolutely loving how this yarn is working up. I did decide to put eyelet rows in every now and then. I've gone for every third sort of wedge. I kind of wish I'd gone for every second wedge. I didn't want to go for every sort of cast off wedge because I thought that might be a little bit too much in this variegated yarn. But now part of me wishes I'd gone to every 2 wedges, but I'm loving how this is knitting up. This yarn is absolutely beautiful to work with, and the colours are glorious. I love how down this edge I've got several of these teeth. I've got orange points. Love it. So yes, Hitchhiker is on the needles, and I'm so glad that I decided to work with this particular skein of yarn. It's absolutely glorious. But yes, that's it. Cast on number 4 is done. I'm so happy with how this yarn and pattern are playing together. This yarn is just absolutely beautiful to work with. And I've popped in my little kitty progress keeper so that next time I work on it I can see how far I get. So yeah, absolute joy to work on, and another project that I'm really looking forward to getting back to. I think I say that about all these projects, and then I know full well that some of them will languish for quite a while, but the good thing is I know that they will bring joy whenever I do manage to get back to them. So yes, I'm going to sign off for this video. Thank you so much for all of your comments, all of your participation. I get a lot of joy out of reading them all and finding out what you've been casting on and looking up some of the patterns that you've been casting on and adding to my ever-growing list of projects that I'd like to make. So thank you all for the inspiration. But yeah, I need to sign off and get going on today's project. So hopefully I will see you again tomorrow for my 5th cast on. I'll have something else to show you tomorrow. But until we get to spend time together again, I hope you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.